In the bustling streets of Johannesburg, South Africa, young Thabo sat on the porch of his modest home, watching the sun dip below the horizon. His father, Sipho, was a hard-working mechanic with a passion for cars that he passed down to his son. Thabo idolized him, spending afternoons in the garage learning about engines and speed. But that evening, tension hung in the air like a storm cloud. Sipho had borrowed money from a local loan shark to fix up an old car, and the debt had spiraled out of control. Thabo could hear raised voices from inside the house, but he didn't understand the gravity until it was too late. Suddenly, the door burst open and Sipho stumbled out, clutching his side. A burly man named Victor followed, his face twisted in rage, a pistol glinting in his hand. "You think you can run from me, Sipho? The money or your life?" Victor snarled. Thabo froze in terror as his father pleaded for more time, explaining how he was close to selling a restored vehicle to pay back the debt. But Victor wasn't listening. He raised the gun and fired a single shot that echoed through the neighborhood. Sipho crumpled to the ground, blood pooling around him, his eyes locking with Thabo's in a final heartbreaking glance. Thabo screamed, rushing to his father's side, but it was no use. Neighbors emerged from their homes, sirens wailed in the distance, but Victor had already vanished into the night. The police arrived too late, taking statements and promising justice, yet Thabo knew deep down that the system often failed people like them. As he held his father's lifeless hand, a seed of vengeance planted itself in his young heart. He vowed silently that one day he would make Victor pay for shattering his world. Years later, that vow fueled Thabo's every move. He threw himself into the world of cars, just as his father had loved. Starting small, he tinkered with scrap parts, dreaming of the day he'd own a beast like the Nissan GTR his father had always admired. But to cope with the trauma, Thabo sought thrills on the streets. One night, he entered his first underground race in Soweto. The engines roared, drowning out his inner demons. Lined up at the start, adrenaline surged as the flag dropped. Thabo floored the pedal in his borrowed ride, weaving through traffic with precision honed from garage lessons. He overtook rivals one by one, the crowd cheering as he crossed the finish line first, a taste of victory that felt like a step toward honoring his father. As Thabo grew into his teens, the memory of that fateful night haunted him like a ghost. He lived with his aunt in a cramped township apartment, scraping by on odd jobs. School felt irrelevant. Instead, he spent hours poring over car magazines, sketching designs inspired by his father's stories. Victor's name whispered through the streets as a feared moneylender, untouchable by the law. Thabo gathered scraps of information from hushed conversations, learning Victor had ties to underground syndicates. His resolve hardened. He would avenge his father, but first he needed power, and cars were his path. Thabo's aunt worried about his obsession, urging him to let go and focus on a normal life, but normalcy was stolen from him. He started working at a local auto shop, earning enough to afford his first beat-up sedan. Nights were for practice, pushing the limits on empty roads. The thrill of speed became his escape, a way to outrun the pain. Friends noticed his talent, inviting him to low-stakes races where he began building a reputation. One evening, under the city lights, Thabo lined up for a race through the industrial district. Engines revved, the air thick with exhaust and anticipation. As the signal flashed, he launched forward, his car hugging curves with expert control. Competitors tried to block him, but Thabo's instincts prevailed. He shifted gears seamlessly, accelerating past them on a straightaway. The finish line approached, and he claimed victory, the crowd's roar fueling his vendetta. Prize money in hand, he bought better tires, inching closer to his Nissan GTR dream. The wins piled up, but so did the risks.
Police patrols increased in racing hotspots, yet Thabo evaded them like shadows. Each race was a chapter in his story of revenge, teaching him patience and strategy. Victor remained elusive, but Thabo's network grew. Racers shared rumors, pointing him toward the man's hideouts. Deep down, Thabo knew love for cars was his father's legacy, not just a tool for vengeance, but the two intertwined, driving him forward relentlessly.
By age 18, Thabo had saved enough to purchase a used Nissan GTR shell, a resting frame that echoed his father's unfulfilled dreams. He spent months in the garage, welding, tuning, and customizing it into a street monster. The twin-turbo engine purred like a predator, painted midnight black to blend into the night. This car wasn't just transportation, it was his weapon, his companion in the quest for justice. Friends marveled at his dedication, but Thabo kept his true motives hidden, smiling through the pain. Life in Johannesburg pulsed with energy, but for Thabo it was a battlefield. He juggled day jobs with night races, his GTR becoming legendary in underground circles. Whispers of the shadow racer spread, a nod to his elusive style. Victor's empire grew, loaning money to desperate souls, but Thabo bided his time, gathering intel from shady contacts. In a high-stakes race along the N1 highway, Thabo faced seasoned opponents. The starting line buzzed with tension, lights reflecting off polished hoods. Go! Thabo exploded off the mark, the GTR's all-wheel drive gripping the asphalt. He dodged potholes and traffic, overtaking a rival with a daring drift around a bend. Engines screamed as he pulled ahead, crossing the finish in triumph. The win netted him sponsorship rumors and more cash for upgrades. Yet victory felt hollow without closure. Thabo visited his father's grave, vowing aloud to end Victor's reign. The races sharpened his skills, preparing him for the confrontation ahead. Cars were more than machines to Thabo. They were freedom, power, and a bridge to his lost parent. Each rev of the engine whispered encouragement.
Thabo's reputation soared as he dominated Johannesburg's street racing scene. From township drags to city showdowns, his Nissan GTR left competitors in the dust. He upgraded the suspension for better handling, turning it into an unbeatable force. But vengeance loomed. He infiltrated Victor's world through a racer who owed the man money, learning about his operations. Daily life blended routine with adrenaline. Thabo avoided close relationships, fearing they'd complicate his mission. Yet, the racing community became his family, sharing tips and warnings. A midnight race in Hillbrow tested his limits. Lined up against turbocharged imports, Thabo gripped the wheel. The flag waved and he surged forward, the GTR's boost kicking in. He navigated narrow alleys, brakes smoking from sharp turns. A close call with a truck heightened the danger, but he won, solidifying his status. Post-race, Thabo overheard Victor's name in a bet gone wrong. It fueled his fire, pushing him deeper into the underworld. The pursuit of speed mirrored his hunt for justice, relentless, unforgiving. Thabo's investigations led him to Victor's gambling dens, where he posed as a bettor. He saw the man's cruelty firsthand but restrained himself. Back home, he fine-tuned his GTR, adding nitro for extra edge. Racing kept him grounded, a ritual of control amid chaos. In a coastal race near Durban, visiting for leads, Thabo competed on winding roads. Starts, the GTR roared, overtaking on cliff sides. Wind whipped as he drifted corners, winning amid cheers. A lead pointed to Victor's safe house, but Thabo needed more proof. Patience was key, honed by years of waiting. Delving deeper, Thabo allied with racers who despised Victor. They shared stories of deaths and threats, strengthening his resolve. His GTR, now fully modded, symbolized his growth.
Nights blurred into races and reconnaissance. A warehouse race in Pretoria. Engines idled, then exploded. Thabo weaved through obstacles, his GTR's power overwhelming. Victory brought alliances. Victor remained a shadow, but Thabo closed in. Cars connected him to allies and purpose.
Police raids on races forced Thabo to adapt, using back roads. He evaded a chase once, heart pounding. His quest intensified. A tip led to Victor's lieutenant. In a foggy night race, start line tense, Thabo accelerated, dodging patrols. Win secured, but close call reminded of risks. Leads accumulated, painting Victor's picture. Vengeance neared, fueled by speed. Thabo confronted a former associate of Victor's, extracting info. His GTR waited outside, ready for flight. Racing became therapy, releasing tension. Urban sprint race. Lights flashed. GTR launched. Overtakes precise. Win emphatic. Info revealed Victor's routines. The endgame began. With a plan forming, Thabo trained harder. GTR upgrades included stealth features. Community races built confidence. Deserted track race, dust flew as Thabo dominated straights and curves. Victory, sweet. Victor unsuspecting, Thabo prepared. Legacy drove him. Thabo's streak seemed unbreakable until a mysterious racer appeared. But first, routine races. In a stadium parking lot race, crowd roared, GTR excelled. Win, but whispers of a new challenger. That challenger? A girl in a sleek Supra. Thabo intrigued, but focused. Fate twisted. The girl, named Lindiwe, beat Thabo in a surprise race. Her skills unmatched. Shocked, Thabo replayed the loss. Rematch race, start. GTR vs Supra. She edged him again, but sparks flew. Post-race chat revealed shared passion. Love bloomed unexpectedly. Thabo and Lindiwe raced together, hair beating him occasionally. Chemistry grew. Dates involved car talks. Joint race, they teamed, dominating. GTR and Supra in sync. Feelings deepened, but secrets loomed. Romance flourished. Thabo shared his past, omitting vengeance. Lindiwe's background mysterious. Beachside race. Waves crashed as they competed. Thabo won, but her smile won him. Intimacy built. Happiness clashed with mission. Thabo met Lindiwe's family. Shock. Her father was Victor. Heart shattered. Confrontation race. Anger fueled, but she won. Argument ensued. Truth hit hard. Vengeance versus love. Torn, Thabo distanced, but love pulled. Races alone, GTR his solace. Solo night race, speed blurred thoughts. Win hollow. Decided, avenge, then explain. Fate sealed. Thabo tricked Victor, confronting at his compound. Gun drawn, echoes of past. Escape race, fleeing guards in GTR. Drifts evaded pursuit. Killed Victor in rage. Guilt mixed with relief. Police hunted. Thabo hid, racing underground for cash. Lindiwe heartbroken, unaware. Evasive race, cops closed in, GTR outran. Temporary freedom. Months of evasion, net tightened. Nationwide manhunt, Thabo crossed provinces. Races for survival. Highway pursuit race, sirens bled, GTR weaved traffic, narrow escape, but exhaustion set in, end neared. Ambush at a race meet. Police swarmed. Final race attempt.
GTR pushed limits but blocked. Arrested, resisting futile. Trial loomed. Regrets surfaced. Sentenced to life, Thabo reflected in prison. Memories of father, races, love. Inmate stories included makeshift races with drawings. GTR confiscated, but spirit endured. Legacy, a cautionary tale of vengeance's cost.